When I said in my last video update on Sunday that the feeds were unwatchable, I meant it because I wasn't going to be watching them. And that's why there has been so few updates with this atrocious twist, janky world bullshit. However, I did do an experiment and I decided to record the feeds as best as I could over the past few days. Didn't work out so great on Saturday, but Sunday, Monday, today, since I wasn't going to be watching the feeds, sitting here watching them, I wanted to record the waking hours of the show just to see how much game talk there really was over the past few days. And seeing as the twist has been since Friday, so that's Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, we've had 4 days of this twist with the feeds on, if you remember. The feeds came back kind of late on Friday. Anyway, I skimmed through the days, and tried to see how much game talk there really was, so I could see if there was really any game talk, and if it's pertinent game talk, not just Rubina, T-Core, Chemo complaining. So yeah, in my tally, I found there to be just a little over 5 hours of total game talk in 4 days. And most of that game talk actually came Sunday night when Leah was doing one-on-ones. So I would say more than half of that 5 hours of game talk came Sunday night. So when you tally Saturday, Monday, today, that's like 2.5 hours of game talk in 3 days. Abysmal. To me, this is the worst week of feeds I've ever seen. There's no room for game talk because everyone's in the same area. It's a downright horrible twist. It's unwatchable, as I said in my last update. The show is a joke. On the show, you have these bad green screens. I think cable access channels, college channels from the 2000s had better green screens than this Big Brother episode Sunday night. It's a joke. Downright joke. Where the game is concerned, T-Core was put up on the block, likely going home. Leah didn't even use her twist veto. She could have also put someone up on the block. I'm glad she didn't. As much as I've taken up for T-Core's game, I think I would have been annoyed if it was Chelsea and T-Core on the block because of a awful twist week that's unwatchable, that's also a convoluted veto. I would have hated that. The best players should not be going home on a convoluted veto. And I do think Chelsea is the best player, although she has faltered, which we'll get to a bit. Last week, I did say that this would finally be the first week that T-Core would be in trouble. And last week, I said a lot that the only person I saw T-Core going home against would be Rubina. And here we are. I do think T-Core is going home, at least up to this point, the way it's looking. I thought Chemo would be the swing and be talked into keeping Rubina, but I think it might be Cam that's actually talked into keeping Rubina over T-Core. Yes, so T-Core haters in my comments for the past month. It took a long time for you guys to get what you wanted, but T-Core's finally on the block, likely going home, although I do find it very hilarious that the T-Core haters can't even rejoice. They've been talking all this shit where they've been wanting her on the block for weeks in my comments. It's finally here, and the feeds are a steaming pile of shit that's not even watchable, so you can't even really enjoy it. The T-Core haters can't pretend they're enjoying it, but you turn on the feeds and watch people playing with toys, playing with stuffed animals. The sound quality is terrible because they're outside. Planes are always flying by. They're cutting the feeds all the time, making them dance or sing every hour. I don't know. I do at least find it funny that T-Core haters can't truly enjoy her being on the block this week, because at least not watching the feeds, because they're abysmal, and like the episodes ain't going to be much better because of the quality of cable access television from the 2000s. So good luck with that. Also, where T-Core's game is concerned, if you go throughout the season, early in the season, you had dummies like that melting jumbo marshmallow Ori streams talking about how T-Core was playing a bad game. She never truly played a bad game, in my opinion, until this past week and a half, when she got way too comfortable. Everyone was saying, oh, getting rid of Tucker is going to be the downfall of her game. Getting rid of Cedric's going to be the downfall of her game. She lasted a month, over a month after Cedric, weeks after Tucker. The downfall of Tikor's game was Tikor getting too comfortable. And her game, discussions about her game changed from she was a terrible player to if she makes the end, she's going to win the game. So how can a terrible player make the end and win the game? These dummies don't know what they're talking about all the time. But I do think Tikor is going home now, and it is her own doing. She got too comfortable, and it's kind of Chelsea's doing as well. The only other thing that happened on feeds to talk about, other than the abysmal 5 hours of game talk in 4 days, is drama between the throuple. Again, Chelsea, MJ, Cam. Chelsea's jealousy issues, I suppose. I don't talk a lot about Chelsea and Cam as a couple because they're not one. And I don't actually think they have chemistry. And Cam and MJ don't have chemistry either. So the whole situation doesn't mean anything to me because I don't think it's actually a thing. I think Chelsea's just very inexperienced with relationships. She's only kissed one person apparently. So I think she's kind of in a mindset of jealousy when it comes to relationships because she's just not used to it. So yeah, that's like, if that's all we're getting from this week, doesn't make me feel much better about the week. This is coming after a season of Love Island where there was passionate displays of drama between the couples, and this is what Big Brother's giving us. Like, please spare me. Anyone pretending like the season's not hit a wall, like the momentum hasn't hit a wall because of an abysmal twist by this stupid production that just can't help themselves. Every single season, they find a way to outdo themselves, to give us boring, terrible feeds because of a twist. This twist is worse than the zombie twist. Somehow, some way. I said last year that was the worst twist. I didn't think that could be topped. They found a way to do it by not letting there be game talk all week and then making them dance like this is good TV. The show's a joke, production's a joke. I'm not surprised this has happened. I hoped that I could get through a season without complaining about how shitty production is, but it's not going to happen. Last season, I struggled to get through the second half, but at least I had like disdain for that cast, and I could be fueled on disdain. I could sit here and rant. But after this week, I just feel apathetic towards the game because what even was this week? I feel very apathetic towards the game. The best thing going is that anyone could still win, I suppose. But it's going to take a while for me to care again. I don't think I'm going to go into this next week caring right away. I think after this week and how abysmal it's been, how there's been 5 hours of game talk in 4 days, I don't know what's going to excite me about the game again, but we'll see if anything does. Where things stand after this week, and maybe if I have time tomorrow, I'll record a little more in depth. I can't really get into it right now because I don't care, as I've said. I feel like Cam is trying to play a good game. He's clocked into playing, but I don't think he's doing that good. I get that he's playing his own game, that he wants to go, as of right now anyway, go with Leah and Angela to vote out Tikor, and how he sees that's best for his game. You know, with Leah telling him that Tikor was throwing out their all-girls alliance, and that Tikor was throwing out that a guy should go home this week, and it's only Chemo and Cam. So that was good by Leah. I could see Leah getting out of this week without being put on the block next week. In fact, I would be surprised at this point if Leah's not in the Final Four. I still find her game to be very one-note. It's been the entire season, very one-note. But it's working in keeping herself off the block. Is she going to get a winning vote? I doubt it. I think if Tikor goes this week, she's going to make sure that Angela or Leah don't win this game unless they're against each other at the end. And good for Tikor. That's what happens when you have a good social game. You might be able to pull that off in jury, and I do think Tikor can. I think poisoning Angela's game is very easy. she has a horrible social game. I don't think T-Core needs to even push that much to poison Angela getting a winning vote. But she might do some damage to Leah getting a winning vote. I see, after this week, MJ being in the best spot going forward. If Chelsea loses T-Core this soon, I think it's bad for Chelsea's game. I think she loses a shield in front of her. In fact, I would go so far as to say, I know I said last week the only person that T-Core would go home against would be Rubina. I think if Leah had used her veto and T-Core and Chelsea were up on the block this week, T-Core would still be going home because Angela would have been the swing vote, and Angela's very gung-ho for T-Core going home. The most gung-ho for T-Core going home is Angela. I think Angela would have voted T-Core out over Chelsea, and T-Core would have still been going home for Chelsea. That being said, either way of Chelsea losing T-Core this week makes Chelsea's game harder going forward, and that's why I see MJ in the best spot, at least for next week. Will MJ be able to keep the best spot? Probably not, because she's dumb. I think Cam thinks he's helping himself next week, but there are targets on Cam. I think Rubina would target Cam next week. I just don't see anyone targeting MJ right now. Angela wants to target Chelsea. I think Chelsea would maybe try and target Leah. I mean, she should. That should be her target going forward. Cam is saying he wants to just put Rubina and Chemo back up on the block. I don't know if that's totally true, but I don't think he's targeting MJ. Rubina's not. Chemo maybe targets MJ, but I just don't see that either right now. I don't know. I just don't see anybody actually targeting MJ next week. The throuple still holds the most power going forward. They are the, at least until the drama with Chelsea this week, they seemed like not only the strongest duo, but the smartest duo, even though MJ's dumb, but she goes along with smart plans. So that's just how I'm seeing it right now. I think MJ's in the best spot next week because I don't think anyone would target MJ, at least not in an initial nom situation. Leah may be in the second best spot and then Cam. I think Cam and MJ are in a little better spot than Chelsea going forward. But Chelsea puts in that work every week to keep herself safe. I just do think she loses a shield in front of her with T-Core going this week. If T-Core goes, I mean, the fact that T-Core actually could survive this week still speaks to T-Core's good social game because she has not played well over the past week and a half. She has not put in the work over the past week and a half, which is why she is in danger of going home this week. But the fact that she still just needs Cam and Chemo to vote her way, if Chelsea is able to help her do that, I still think it speaks to T-Core's good social game. But so far, she's not putting in the work still that she needs to stay this week. But there is a day left, so we'll see what happens. Either way you slice it, the feeds suck. The twist sucks. Momentum has died. Anybody trying to sit there, I saw posts on Twitter when the veto was announced that there was 2 vetoes. Oh my god, the season that keeps on giving. With these abysmal feeds, spare me. I called the first 2 months a good game. I call it like I see it. This season was a lot better than other seasons have been, especially in recent years. But this twist has sucked royally, and it has damaged the season, and that's just the truth. So people sitting here, I don't know. I just can't deal with it, especially after such a good season of Love Island, where their players are getting like millions of followers on Instagram because the season was that good. To sit here and give production credit just because they got one twist right with the AI Arena that finally, after a decade, made this show a little more enjoyable because it wasn't the same old song and dance with a big alliance. And then production gives us this steaming pile of garbage. Whatever.